So yeah, we're going to talk about Chief Stephenson's career and a couple fun facts. So amassed over 2,000 flight hours, over 19 years of flying, which is a very cool feat. Not many people log that many hours, especially on the enlisted flight mechanic side. Obviously, we're at Air Station Washington, and you got a lot of hours that way as well, but a really cool feat. And Chief also told me it was 699 sorties over the course of those 19 years. So 699 flights amassing well over 2,000 hours. Very rare these days. His first flight in a Coast Guard aircraft was in an H-60 helicopter, Coast Guard number 6037. And that was on April 3rd, 2007. And you'll notice on the plaque, there is a 6037 on there. And what was just in our hangar moments ago is the 6037, which is stationed here in New Orleans with us now.
Wow. Cool.
Very cool. So while the 6037 is not exactly the same exact aircraft that it was when Chief had his first flight almost 20 years ago, it's got a new cockpit, new upgrades to it. It is, however, the exact same aircraft that Chief did his very first flight on 19 years ago when he was at Sector Air Station, San Diego. Who was the pilot? You remember? I checked your logbook. It was Rick Heights. Remember him? Long since retired. Just like Chief's career, the 6037 has also moved around the country a few times as well. Many of you probably know that our aircraft switch units from time to time, usually every few years based on depot maintenance cycles at the Aviation Logistics Center in North Carolina. And that is just the case for the 6037, which has had its own unique journey around the country. I thought it would be interesting to see, after they had their first flight together 19 years ago, and then moved all around the U.S., where did the 6037 go that ultimately brought both of you back here today, on this day? What was its journey? Well, so we looked it up. Thank you, Monica. You had your first flight in 2007, we just said that, and then it went to Air Station Astoria in 2009, and then the 6037 went to Cape Cod, Massachusetts in 2010, then to Air Station Kodiak in 2015, then to Air Station Clearwater in 2017, back to Kodiak in 2019, and then here at Air Station New Orleans in 2024. And if you pay any attention to any of that, yes, that aircraft also lived in the four corners of the U.S. during that entire journey as well. Not in the same order as you guys, obviously, but it had a very unique, similar journey all around the country, seeing all kinds of cool things.
That's so cool.
Very, very interesting journey to make, over 20 years, all to just end up today together here at Air Station New Orleans. Chief no doubt knows that his first flight was in that aircraft on April 3rd, 2007. So naturally, he wanted his last flight to be on the 6037 as well. Also on April 3rd, exactly 19 years to the day, this month. So, Chief and the team scheduled this to be the last flight on the 6037. They got the aircraft all fueled up, prepared, inspected, ready, towed it out onto the ramp so they could go on the very last flight. And what happened? It broke in the chocks. The rotor brake malfunctioned and it couldn't go fly that day. So the team towed out the other aircraft, 6041, and they went on that one instead for his last flight. So almost got to 6037, was that close, but as anyone that works in Coast Guard aviation knows, this was also a very suiting conclusion too, because all mechanics know these aircraft don't always behave properly. And that was the case here. Still a cool story, and I just guess the Coast Guard gods did not want that to be. So. Some of you also may know Chief and I, we do go way back together, and his brother Marty as well. We were stationed together at Air Station Cape Cod back in 2011, and I definitely remember this. But I also remember Marty, and he was also an AT, also a flight mechanic, also there at the same time, and you guys look a lot alike. So, you know, when we were sitting down in my office, I was racking my brain, what were the flights we went on? What were those experiences? And it's hard because in my mind, I see both of you guys, and I'm like, which one was that? So I pulled your flight log book. I took my flight log book, and I did a little comparison and see, you know, how many times we fly together, what did we go do? And we did fly together a bunch of times, both of you, but we're talking about you today. So we flew together a lot. And I just picked a couple notable flights here. We'll play a game. We'll see if you remember any of them. You look like me. We'll see which one you remember. Okay, so August 2011, pollution response in Boston Harbor. Really? I don't remember that. That sounds kind of lame, but I definitely drew a blank on that one. October 2011, counter drug ops in Maine with Maine DEA and Knox County Sheriff.
I do remember that.
Do you remember that? Okay. We were looking for marijuana. And after the flight, they're like, you guys find it? We're like, it all looks green. There's trees everywhere. It might have been marijuana, I have no idea. We didn't find it, that's for sure. January 2012, transport of Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano to Plum Island. Okay, little fib, we were not technically in the same aircraft that day. We had two aircraft that flew in formation out, and we took Janet Napolitano to Plum Island. Secret Service flight, so it was a formation flight. We were together. Do you still have your T-shirt from the time?
I do.
I do too, man. Why don't we coordinate that in front? Mine has holes in it. Yeah, the fire department gave us T-shirts because we were so easy to work with that day. Okay, February 2012, security overflight with U.S. Secret Service for Vice President Biden during the visit to Rhode Island. Remember that one? Okay, that was a fun 6 hours, just like literally flying overhead and watching nothing. And then April 2012, nighttime shipboard deck landings on Coast Guard cutter Campbell east of Boston. Sure. I remember being scared. Were you as scared as I was doing that? Okay, cool. I guess none of us talked about that. We all lied. I was terrified. Okay, that was just a couple of flights that Chief and I were on together. And then we know you had another 1,980 amazing other flight hours all around the country, doing all kinds of great missions that we definitely don't have time to mention all of those today, but you should be very proud of all those. Lady Daisy, thank you for graciously sharing your husband and dad with us for these many years. Service in the Coast Guard brings sacrifices on all fronts, and it's impossible without the support of our families and our loved ones. You permanently changed station 4 times, 3 of which were from coast to coast. You left friends and communities that you grew up in and established friendships in, moved jobs that you love, fought to become relicensed in new places, sacrificed your career progression, and had to endure when you couldn't be there for holidays and family gatherings. One occasion that Spencer shared with me stood out as both a testament to the trials of service and to your strength as a family. It was back in 2019 for Thanksgiving. This is when you were living in Washington, D.C., and Spencer was traveling all around the world with our senior admirals and White House cabinet members at Air Station Washington. Spencer was on a work trip in London. Despite being super sick, Lainey flew all the way across the Atlantic to be with Spencer and share a Thanksgiving meal with him. Talking with Spencer, it is abundantly clear to me that acts of love like this meant way more to him than any physical gift, and these are the memories that he cherishes. Your unwavering strength and support are the foundation of our military service, and none of us, including Chief, can do it without you. Let's have a round of applause for Chief Stevenson's family. Chief, thankfully, this transition will bring much more stability to you and your family now. Upon retirement, I understand you will remain here locally and continue to be involved in the New Orleans community. I also have some pretty good intel that when we see you again in the coming months, and you swing by and say hello, there's a good chance we'll get to see what your giant, massive ginger beard might look like. And just remember, Lainey does need to approve that.
Yes, thank you. You're exactly right.
Goes without saying, this Air Station will be here for you and your family in the future if you need anything at all. Spencer, best of luck in retirement and all future endeavors you undertake. Microphone is yours.
Oh, thank you.
All right, before we get started, a quick disclaimer. There might be a lot of acronyms today, likely a bit of profanity. I've spent 22 years on the hangar deck and old habits die hard. But I'll try to keep a balance between my military and family, just like I've always tried to balance the military and family side of myself while always prioritizing my family. Thank you, Skipper. XO's not here, but the rest of the wardroom for your leadership and always making the number of landings, the number of takeoffs. That's your greatest mission, and you execute it flawlessly. Thank you for bringing us home safe every time. To the Chiefs, CMC, MCPMC, Jaime, Greg, Ronnie, Graham, James, you guys are my brothers, and I'm forever grateful for your expertise, your guidance, your friendship. Please keep inviting me to your leadership symposiums. When I made Chief, the most common piece of advice I got was to rely on the E6s. Boy, did I do that. Thank God we have the most solid, competent, capable group of E6s who are the true driving force of this hangar deck. These men and women run the show day in and day out. They give the brief, they roll the punches, they text the warrant, they get the planes fixed, they call the warrant, they put the planes on the line, they text the warrant, they got the cats, they call the warrant, the plane breaks the chocks, they call the warrant again. And seriously, they execute the mission that saves lives every single day, and I'm extremely grateful. To my family and friends who traveled here today, I'm super appreciative. I'm so happy to have you here to celebrate with us. Mom, Mike, Meg, Jay, Christian, Marty, Jess, Jeremy, Tim, Maggie, David, and Aaron. You all have been my solid support system for over 22 years. I couldn't have succeeded in this career without you. Thank you. To my local friends, Rich, Jen, Sharon, Helen, thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. Two people are notably not here with us today. My grandparents, Jerry and Loretta. Unfortunately, due to my granddad Jerry's health and recent eye surgery, he was unable to travel, but I do want to recognize him and thank him for his years of service in the Air Force in the 1960s. Tragically, my grandmother Loretta passed away last October after a long and valiant fight against Alzheimer's and dementia. We miss her joyful spirit and know that she would be so proud. People ask what drew me to the Coast Guard. Truth, my mom signed me up. After high school, I didn't have an interest in going to college, and nobody pushed me to. I really just wanted to hang out with my friends and go do fun, cool shit. Most of my friends went off to college. My mom and brother Marty moved to California. So my mom pushed me into the Coast Guard recruiting office and told them I was enlisting.
You're welcome.
Fill out all the necessary paperwork.
I remember. I saw it.
All I had to do was sign on the dotted line, and I didn't want to make her mad, so I did it. I knew that I had a hunger for adventure, and somewhere deep down I had a desire to serve humanity in a positive and tangible way. Coast Guard turned out to be a perfect fit. It allowed me to chase that adventure while serving a mission that was bigger than myself. 22 years, 2 months, 16 days. 7 cross-country moves, lived in 8 houses, was qualified on 3 airframes, flew 700 flights, logged 2,000 flight hours, visited 33 of the 50 states and 20 countries, and saved or assisted countless lives in the process. The Coast Guard gave me the opportunity to do some really cool stuff, including a list. I got to go on the equivalent of an Alaska cruise for nearly 2 years straight, seeing the beauty and wonder of all that the 49th state has to offer. I saw the Northern Lights more times than I can remember. I wakeboarded in a dry suit behind the Cutter small boat, dodging mini icebergs and floating in the water. I got to dive from the top of our ship into the icy waters of Valdez Bay, climb glaciers, and hand feed bald eagles with freshly caught fish. Not legal. Hoisted survivors from cruise ships, cargo ships, fishing boats, and even a submarine. I flew on a presidential security flight over Providence, flew countless laps circling around the Statue of Liberty in Manhattan for a public affairs mission. I did flyovers of Padres and Chargers games, the San Diego Chargers. I got to be recognized on the field at a Padres game, followed by tickets to a box suite to watch the game. You were there for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I visited the top deck of the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. I went skydiving on the north shore of Oahu. I
I spent Thanksgiving 2019 in London with my wife on a mission for the Commandant. I got my AMP and Gulfstream G550 Master Technician certificates. I got to ride 2 Mardi Gras parades on the Coast Guard float. And probably the most unique and humbling thing I got to do was to do my final Coast Guard re-enlistment in the National Archives Rotunda in DC, raising my right hand and swearing to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, standing 2 feet from the actual Constitution of the United States. Thanks, Laney, for setting up that one. Looking back now, I realize that I pretty much spent an entire Coast Guard career just hanging out with my friends and doing fun, cool shit. Thanks, Mom. My approach to leadership was less General Patton and more Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick, you will go far." I've used that philosophy with quite a bit of success, and I found that a leader's voice carries the most weight when it's used sparingly and respectfully. I always tried to listen twice as much as I spoke, 2 ears, 1 mouth. When I stepped into a situation, it was never to take over, but to steady the ship. I truly aimed to be that rock-solid support system you can rely on, whether the challenge was a complex maintenance script, a risky mission, or a personal struggle. Being chief isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions so that you can find those answers for yourselves. My goal was to provide a blueprint for success and then step back, trusting the skilled hands on the wrenches and the hoist bennets to get the job done. Clearly, my primary goal as chief was to always take care of our most valuable asset. No, not 6037. Our people, all of you. You're their irreplaceable component. You are the most important piece of equipment we have. So take care of each other, look out for your shipmate. And in the words of ASTC Graham McGinnis, be intentional with your words, be intentional with your work, for it truly does matter. Commander Thomas Nelson, Lieutenant Commander Andrew Wishmeyer, AST-1 Dave Skimmon, AMT-2 Josh Nichols, Lieutenant Commander Jay Barnes, Lieutenant Adam Bryan, AMTC John Seidman, AT-2 Carl Gronis, AT-2 Monica Beecham, AMT-2 Jason Walensky, AMT-3 Danny Frieder, Lieutenant Sean Cooper, AMT-1 Adam Buck, AMT-2 Brett Banks, Lieutenant Commander Dan Taylor, Lieutenant GD Thomas Cameron, ASTC Fernando George, AT-3 Andrew Knight, Ensign Morby Garrett, AST-2 Tyler Daggers. Coast Guards have died in aviation accidents during my career. Let us not forget their names. While today's a celebration, it's a privilege not afforded to everyone. Their sacrifices why mission excellence matters, because they gave everything. I'm even more mindful of what I owe to those who waited for me to come home. Daisy. Thank you for your support throughout these short yet incredibly fast-paced years. Fast-paced 3.5 years. You've brought an immeasurable amount of light and joy into our family. In my 22 years in the Coast Guard, I've held many titles, but none have made me more proud than the one you gave me at that. Your kindness, intelligence, and courage inspires me every day. Watching the Artemis mission this month and seeing Christina Cook fly around the moon makes me realize that the sky isn't even the limit for you. I hope you look up to women like Christina, Malala, Josephine Baker, and Dolly Parton, and realize that you have the same fire within you. The world is yours, darling. Go out and take it by storm. I'll be there to support you, no matter what path you choose. Back in 2019, my wife and I were living in Washington, D.C., and because we're a little weird, we were very into estate sales. And we still are, in fact. Hunter, we love to go look through old, maybe dead people's personal possessions and see what unique things we can find. We've been to countless estate sales throughout the years, but this particular one stood out. Lady found it advertised on estatesales.net and thought it would be perfect for me because the advertisement said that it had some Coast Guard memorabilia. Well, it turns out that this house had almost exclusively Coast Guard memorabilia. Tons of plaques, pictures, awards, documents, blank owner, light crossing certificates, etc. Way too much stuff for a regular Coast Guard, or a regular person to have. I began to realize that this person must have been a career coastie, probably pretty high ranking based on the honors I was seeing. And after a little bit more snooping, I realized that this was the home of Admiral James Gracie, the 17th Commandant of the Coast Guard, and the sitting Commandant the year I was born. My mind was blown. I was snooping through the Commandant's house. Pretty weird. I only bought 2 things at the estate sale that day, and I brought them with me. All right. It was a pair of Coast Guard Air Station Washington coffee mugs. Here they are. Air State Washington coffee mugs, which was cool because I was stationed at Air State Washington at the time. The first mug was clearly for Admiral Gracie. It had 4 golden stars all over the Air State logo, and the word boss was etched into it. The second coffee cup was a little bit more mystery. It actually had 5 stars on it, and the name Randy. I thought that's weird because the Coast Guard doesn't have any 5-star admirals. And I wonder who this guy Randy was that was flying on the jet with the Commandant. Maybe Admiral Gracie's nickname was Randy, maybe a DoD colleague or member of the Joint Chiefs or the DOT secretary. Could have been the president or vice president. None of that checked out. Finally, after researching Admiral Gracie that night, I figured out this 5-star admiral was the Commandant's real boss, his wife. Randy was Admiral Gracie's wife, spouse for over 70 years, and was an advocate for what she calls the Coast Guard family. A balance between service to the mission and the home front. She even continued her commitment to the Coast Guard for years after his death. I think this is a perfect representation to what my wife Lainey has brought to our family. An unwavering devotion to the success and prosperity of our family while also understanding the commitment to service that we both have sworn to. Lainey, I'm deeply grateful for your decades of support to me and the Coast Guard. I would certainly not have gone as far in my career without your encouragement and reassurance. You pushed me to be the best version of myself both at home and at work. You were always my fiercest advocate, even when I didn't want to advocate for myself. Your sacrifices have not gone unnoticed and are in fact greatly appreciated. You've endured 4 cross-country PCS transfers, quit numerous jobs, got relicensed in new states, left dear friends and beloved homes. All in support of my Coast Guard career, and you did it all with grace and optimism. The trip planning, home searching, packing and unpacking, job searching, interviewing, meals, logistics, 24/7 support, etc., etc., etc. have been a never-ending, monumental to-do list that you absolutely crush and make it look easy. Most importantly, your raising Daisy has been inspirational to watch. You're the most devoted mama, and your enduring efforts are clearly displayed in how wonderful Daisy is. She's the luckiest girl to have you as her mama, and I'm the luckiest guy to be on this parenting adventure with you. This is the greatest gift that I'll ever receive. I'm so incredibly thankful to you everything you've done for us throughout my career. It took me a while to realize who the 5-star admiral in that house really was. But standing here today, looking back 22 years, I realize that I've had my own 5-star admiral steering our ship the entire time. Although I stand here today with a chest full of honors and awards, you have never asked for nor ever received recognition for your meritorious achievements throughout the past 2 decades. You deserve to be recognized, and today I'm going to make that happen. In my final act in the Coast Guard, I'd like to ask you to come back up on stage and receive an award that is so long overdue. So please come up.
Military Spouse Medal. 2. Margaret P. Stevenson. The spouse does not wear a uniform, yet they serve their country. They do not acquire nor wear ribbons showing where they have been, yet they go. They did not ask for the duty they perform, yet they unwaveringly serve to their best ability. They serve, yet are not honored with trinkets or pieces of cloth showing their service. The burning candle signifies the lonely nights you have spent, and that you have kept the home fires burning, a symbol with no beginning and no end. The ring around the candle flame symbolizes the undying flame of love for your spouse. The image of a rose is for the unwavering devotion you have shown for your spouse in her service to their country. This medal is gratefully given to those that do not ask, those that stay on the home front so that their spouse can serve. For they also proudly serve their country. Always remembered, never forgotten.
I'm officially stepping away, but I'm doing so knowing I'm leaving the Coast Guard in good hands. I'd like to leave you with 2 final quotes that mean a lot to me. The first is from AST-1 John Calhoun, who some of you may know. We're a small service, and people forget about us until the worst day of their lives, and thank God we didn't forget about them. The second is from the real boss, Randy Grayson. She said, I have a theory that people attracted to the military life and also with a burning urge to be of service to others join the Coast Guard. This is my answer to those who ask how we manage to attract such superior people. It follows that such men and women would look for and attract equally outstanding people to marry. Hence, the ever-expanding marvel of the Coast Guard family. And so, good luck to you all. I'm so proud to have been a part of this honorable institution for so many years, as I hope you are. There are very few occupations left of such unquestionably humane and admirable intent. I wish you many years of future and pleasure and pride in your service life. Thanks.
Chief Stevenson will now officially retire. Military personnel, attention to orders. From Commander, Coast Guard Personnel Service Center, to Chief Petty Officer Spencer Stevenson, U.S. Coast Guard. Subject, active duty retirement orders. Your request to retire is approved. In accordance with Title 14, U.S. Code Section 355, please detach from all duties on 31 May 2026 and proceed to your home of selection. On behalf of the Commander Personnel Service Center, we wish to express appreciation for your faithful service. May you have a fulfilling retirement and best of luck in future endeavors. Signed, J.W. Geyer, Captain, Chief, Enlisted Personnel Management, Coast Guard Personnel Service Center. Station at ease. Please take your seats. Chief Stevenson's brother, Chief Stevenson, will now join us on stage. Commander Gustafson will now relieve Chief Stevenson of the watch.
The watch. For 20 years, this sailor has stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this shipmate stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizons of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Many times he would cast an eye ashore and see his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during those hard times, but still, he stood the watch. He stood the watch for 20 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and fellow countrymen could sleep soundly and safely each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. Today, we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Chief Stevenson, you stand relieved. We have the watch.
We now have the watch. Please join us in congratulating Chief Stevenson on his retirement. Would all hands please rise and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Military members, please don your covers at this time. Military personnel, attention. Now, Air Station New Orleans, departing. Hand salute. Ready, two. Chief Petty Officer, U.S. Coast Guard, retired, departing. Hand salute. Ready, two. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's retirement ceremony. At Chief Stevenson's request, liberty has been granted. Please join his family at the Batcher on Walnut Street this afternoon from 1 to 4 for food and refreshments. Thank you for attending.